So, let's get back into it. Bohan, you bring down Korak. Fred, you bring yourself down. Sitting at the table on one end is Eleni. Are any of you other Inkillers sitting? Knowing Rubega, he doesn't want to deal with any of this shit, so he's probably off in the corner being miserly.
I'll go and sort of lean against the wall, sort of to the side, I guess, so I can see both of them.
Okay.
Bohan will take a seat. He will take out a pen, or a quill rather, and a piece of paper parchment.
Yeah.
And he will ready the note-taking.
The portfolios are not present, like visibly present on the table, but they are in like their binder, their ledger binder.
And he will mention one more thing before he's sort of like, and young man, I know you have weapons on your person, but don't be an idiot. Keep them where they are.
How about we just take them off him altogether?
Bohan nods.
I see no problem with this.
Alright, do what you need to.
We'll put them on the. We'll put them on the table, front and center.
Korak takes his belt, unbuckles it, putting a scabbard with a worn but sort of well-maintained sword in it. He also takes out a very odd-looking hilt with a piece of broken blade, and he puts it next to it.
Funnily enough, here's a funny thing. For you, Korak, and for you, Fia, none of your guys' magical equipment is here, save for you, Korak, and that hilt. Your previous magical stuff, the slack thrower, all that stuff, you guys never had it. Or if you guys did have it, you don't remember it. So you put the hilt on the table as well. And this raises an eyebrow. Like, Eleni raises an eyebrow immediately at that. To you, Bohan, as someone that maintains equipment and knowing Eleni does so, that's the same as her. That hilt combo, hilt and blade, is the same as hers. And she has a very specific patterning on it. That goes along the bottom of the blade. She doesn't say anything about it, though. But she just sees it, looks at you. And you both know the object in question. And you both turn back to Korak.
Korak, anyone, because everyone has like passive perceptions to infinity here, so you would notice Korak looks distraught, but in a sort of melancholy, almost sorrowful way.
Now, here's the thing. I didn't write down the questions you guys wanted to ask as a group, so you guys had to sort of feed them to me.
Well, what do you want to know?
Out of game. Yeah, out of game. Where did you guys want to start? I don't remember because I was too busy using the bathroom and getting a strip of bacon that was on the table.
All right, so this hotel have a bottle opener is what I want to know.
Every hotel should have a bottle opener. If not, then your hotel is lying to you.
Found one. Anyway.
Hey.
Cheers. Cheers, lad.
So that there were the familiarity. Why does he recognize, in quotation mark, Eleni?
Right.
Also,
if he recognizes any names, I can see that one there.
Yeah, the name.
Is that all?
Probably what the... Yeah, and what he can remember up until, if he does remember anything.
Okay.
Up until the point we found him.
Okay. Oh, we'll probably start there then. That's a more
Yeah.
obvious lead into questioning.
Mm-hmm. Also, might want to bring up because you said his hilt was similar to.
It's the same, not similar.
The same. Okay, yeah. Sort of ask why that is, maybe.
Okay. So I'm gonna be your guys' narrative flow mouthpieces only here. Mr. Korik, I suppose the first thing we'd like to know is what do you recall up until we found you?
Very little. I woke up. Thea was hurt. I believe she said something about being thrown a stone. It was. I don't know. Very little.
Yes, an unfortunate misunderstanding at that time. But before that,
Nothing.
nothing at all.
None.
So you just came into existence.
I woke up, certainly.
Do you know how you know Thea? Her name was. Do you recall? You both seem to recognize one another. Do you know your relationship?
She's familiar. Very familiar. I want to say a friend. The why and how escapes me.
Do you know if you two worked together in the past? Or...
I know that I trust her.
To what degree?
With my life. And yet you say you don't know the extent of your relationship. No, I don't. I just know that I trust her.
Do you think it's because there isn't much there to begin with? That makes sense. Not an extensive relationship.
I don't know what you're implying, but...
Garth is trying to just say, like, hey, has it been a long time that he's known her for this level of trust? There.
If you're assuming that there's some sort of romantic thing going on there,
No.
I don't think. No, we're not, Mr. Korik.
No, I don't know.
So you have no memory whatsoever of how long, how far, how deep?
No. I have.
How about anyone else in your life?
Yes. He looks up at Eleni at the point.
You recognize me?
No.
What part of her draws you then?
I owe you, I guess, an apology. Does the name Lorelei mean anything to you?
How do you know Lorelei?
Looking back and forth between the two.
His gaze sort of comes a bit downcast. He looks aside, looks away. I have this, one of the few clear memories, I suppose. It's the comfort of being embraced and returning that.
I'd watch what you say very, very carefully, Mr. Korik.
He nods. There's so much water. Why is there so much water?
I can't imagine what other circumstance you would have found her.
Yeah, well.
And know that her full title is Princess Lorelei.
Oh.
He sort of mouths that to himself, kind of like a charm. Princess. Does Korik remember that moment at all when she...
gotta be a bit more specific than that moment.
Yeah. When she knighted him, so to speak.
Make me a charisma save.
Can I give him Bardic Inspiration for that?
No, this is not something you know he's doing.
Okay, fair.
Okay. You remember it. It's a bit hazy. The setting of it seems blurry. It's like watching through like a, no pun intended, fisheye lens.
She asked me to protect her.
And what happened to her?
I don't know.
If I might speak with everyone else in the side room for a moment.
Of course.
Why, certainly.
Can I do an insight check on our ally to see how
Sure.
actually freaking out she is?
Sure.
She seems calm under pressure, but also this seems important to her, so I don't know.
Can I help for advantage?
Sure.
Hey, can I submit? 17.
Roll again, you have advantage.
Yay. 15. Okay.
Oh, well.
You guys have seen Eleni crack a couple of times in their different circumstances. They're usually more battle-weary cracks or mental cracks of concern for you guys and stuff like that. During this instance, to you, Fritz, and since you're being assisted by Catherine, and the roll is basically, like, it's only a couple points off. Yeah, you guys... Eleni's not cracked in the sense of, like, she's mentally about to break down or anything like that. It's more of now she seems very on edge and watchful and on guard. You guys have heard this sort of tone from her before, and it's usually when, you know, she's all, like, trying to get you to admit to some sort of self-incriminating thing you've done. She really is like a chiding mother in that sense, although this sense there's no maternal feeling for it. So she brings you all, like, she gathers you all in the side room. You guys still have line of sight on Korg, but she does try to whisper this to all of you. I'm not going to do it, just so you guys have more, not to the degree I would want her to be quiet. I'll still, yeah. I want to maintain comprehension. Princess Lorelei is a sovereign for my people.
Seriously?
Yeah. I haven't heard her name in decades. I haven't been with my people for decades. I want to say 70 some years.
Why'd you leave?
That's a story for another time, Fritz. We have more pressing matters at hand.
Yeah, like how you managed to get involved with the princess.
Exactly. My chiefest concern right now is if he is being truthful, then that's concerning. If he's not being truthful, then I want to know.
He knows a lot.
He knows a lot, and I want to know what he wishes to hide. So, now you know who she is. But
right.
When I left, she was a child. Freshly born. Anyways.
In human terms, she would be,
I don't know, somewhere in her 20s by human year equivalent. Mid to late 20s.
Like,
then?
Young.
Younger than us, certainly.
What's Kork look again?
Kork? He's, I can't remember what I said, but like early to mid 20s.
Okay, so around the same age.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get back to it then, shall we?
Yes.
Yeah. But we've got somewhere to go from now, so...
Hey, is the bird still here?
I imagine. It's just right
yes.
there. You guys sit back down, get back to your posts of either sitting or leaning or whatever. Alright then, Mr. Korik. So, thus far, you do not recall, or at least claim you do not have any recollection of how deep or extensive your relationship is with Fia, nor why you feel that way. You have a handful of anywhere detailed memories regarding a princess.
Yes, she's the only thing I recognize clearly. Remember clearly. But I shouldn't be here. I need to find her.
Why do you need to find her?
I second the question.
He seems to struggle for memory. Do I recall why I feel like she might be in trouble?
No, probably not, because that would illuminate to you why you were in trouble and thus why you are here. So no.
Makes a lot of sense. Would I recall that she might be in trouble?
You recall that she might be in trouble. As for the details of why she is in trouble in more recent time, that's different. You might have a more melded over memory of the assassination attempt than the actual aftermath of it. But then now it gets into a big thing of like, wait, why was I hanging out with a princess that almost got assassinated? Wait, I was on a mission. You're gonna have as a character.
It depends on how you give the information.
Well, no, I'm telling you this right now. It sounds conflicting to us as players, and duly so, because it is conflicting to you as a character. Which is now something us as enkindlers are going to pick at. There are inconsistencies, contradictions, and conflicts that make no sense. But that's exactly how our new arrival is interpreted.
I just know that she's in danger. I don't know why I know or how I know. I just know that she is.
Do you know from what?
He looks at his hands.
Not a good sign. Not a good sign. Do you know what she's in danger from? Looks at self.
His hands.
He traces some of the tattoos on his arms.
Let's see. Who's the more party going sore? Probably. To you, Fritz, and to you, Catherine, Eleni, gestures you all to like come closer.
Leans.
Like come over here, lean towards me, because she's sitting down. You guys are standing up. Or you have to stand up to get her. She whispers to both of you. Again, I'm not gonna go to the level of quiet I want her to be, but do you recognize any of those tattoos?
Let's have a
What
look.
would I potentially roll to discern such?
Yes.
Where were you from?
Cool.
Where were you guys from as characters?
Hmm.
Not have to ask that, but to see if you have a chance.
You
don't have to go to like a specific province, but I want to know. Were you guys we talking provincials, Gathothorians? We talking Exchangians or Frajardans? You know, where are we talking here? How old are you? Out of in the true cosmos origin of things. How long have you guys been residents in Traverse Town?
Oh, true.
Bohan would be provincial. He would have been here in Traverse Town for longer than I think he realizes.
Yeah, I think Bohan seems like someone that was amongst the first people to recognize that there is a continent. Not to colonize, but just to recognize that there is a continent here, perhaps.
Yeah. And the reason why he would have set out in the first place before he got here
Looking for his son.
was to looking for his son. And he's These days, he's convinced that his son is somewhere in Traverse Town.
That's fair.
Fritz is provincial.
Okay.
He'd be from somewhere that would hear like there's prospects of adventures, so probably like the Heartlands, and then ended up getting swept up in an adventure that, if you couldn't guess by how young he looks, got him out of the game really quickly. But that's.
I mean, the Heartlands has a long history with sailors and piracy, so traveling out here wouldn't be too unorthodox for someone that's craving adventure.
Yeah.
Although you might have to go through less than dubious, or more than dubious means, but yeah, that's whatever.
You figured it out.
All right, what about Catherine?
She'd probably be from like the capital or somewhere like that, I imagine.
Right.
She's got a bit of a dubious background herself, considering she used to be a bloody assassin. So
We don't worry about that.
yeah, we don't worry about that. No. But yeah, she's probably been here for about 35, 40 years, maybe something like that.
So you're pretty recent then.
Yeah. Not too dated.
That's very
Maybe a
recent.
bit longer. Maybe a bit longer, but
Yeah, so yeah, you're pretty recent, yeah.
yeah. Yeah. She's sort of.
If that's the case, Catherine, you can make me a background roll, although it'd be a disadvantage, because you're not really a magic-y person yourself. So.
No.
As for you, Fritz, what time period do you think you come from?
He's a weird one, because I feel like the adventures he would have really loved to be the adventures of knights, so I feel like he was around at that time, but he's kind of like always trapped at whatever age or time he is. So like if he's been in Traverse Town for hundreds of years, he doesn't register that. It's been like, oh,
Yeah.
I've always been here for like a couple years or
Yeah,
something.
if that's the case, then also make background, but at disadvantage.
Sure. And this time I punched the numbers in correctly.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, 11.
Yeah, you guys don't recognize it.
It was someone. It must have been. I was. Yes.
Someone what?
Yes. Someone's trying to hurt her. I have to. I bleed before she does.
Well, isn't that very romantic?
It's what I do.
Be romantic.
No,
The bleeding part.
I protect people.
Right, of course. Naturally.
She does like a cutting quirk of the throat at you. Well,
you seem to be rather. Look,
Mr. Korak, please know that our jobs are to protect people as well. So please help us do that.
all right. Wait, this is familiar. He will activate his tattooed fortitude.
I don't know how you guys respond to that. Eleni keeps calm, but I don't know how the rest of you respond to someone basically declaring intention of hostility.
Trying to act cool, but my hand is on my
You reach for the gun.
hand is on. Yeah, reach for my my sword.
I do effectively the similar action, but for magic instead. I'm just like, I'm about to cast a spell, and it's kind of obvious.
So,
Just
what
fairly
exactly are you
magic.
thinking of doing there, Mr. Korik?
What does Bohan do?
I don't think he realizes what's going on. At this point.
I heard a noise somewhere.
He's like, what? Oh.
Oh, we're doing this
Not
now.
that
I see how it is. Pulls out gun. So you have magical capabilities.
In a sense, yes.
Are you well versed in it?
No.
Do you recall any instances where you interacted with magical people, magical items, artifacts,
Magical environments,
locations, sites?
That. He points at the blade.
Artifact it is.
These. He points at himself, the tattoos.
Do you know anything about them?
He taps his chest. This is me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's always been me. That? What do I remember of the sword hilt?
Oh, that's a good fucking question.
Like, or rather than remembering, what does Korik feel about it?
What do you feel about it? That is a better question. Honor. It's definitely one. Honor. Courtesy.
That one.
Hospitality.
That one. Honor. Honorable. Courteous. Sincere. Duty.
Where
That's
did you
what
get
I
it?
feel when I look. Where did I don't remember.
That's fine.
Do you remember other people you could have worked with in the past? Maybe?
Fear.
Anyone else?
Aside from that.
Anyone?
Someone
Do I?
else that's following the similar pattern of honor
You.
and-
These memories are much more likely to be had. The further back we go, the more likely your memories are to be recollected. Because it's not those memories that nearly caused you that actually caused you to die and end up in Traverse Town. So
Okay.
you probably do.
Wait. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I do. Kaladin Devane, my captain.
captain of
Here's,
what group?
Catherine, due to your time period of which you lived, died, etc., you actually probably would recognize the name, although not in the same prestige that Korik holds it.
Oh, okay.
Because for Korik, Kaladin is an established mercenary, like, defensive contractor leader. For you, as a capital kid, years ago, decades ago, he's probably still, just a random up-and-coming guy. But you recognize the name. You don't know to what degree, but it's like, hey. It's like, if I drop the name Carl Urban or something, tell me, what is Carl Urban known for? You're like, I don't
Oh, okay.
Yes. The company, Swift Shield. Mercenaries.
So you're a mercenary.
Protecting. We protect caravans, merchants.
Do you recall any other names other than this Kaladin?
Other names.
Actually, Mr. Korik, and she puts her hand on this ledger to her right. We have a list of people here that we believe may know you and thus be able to, I don't know, vouch for you perhaps.
Okay.
I'll read them off and tell me if you recognize anyone. And then perhaps we could bring them here to vouch for you. Or at least speak for your character. Very well. She opens it up and just goes page by page, folio by folio. Alexander, has no last name.
No.
She just continues. Aria Ceres.
Aria. So, no.
Sets aside. Bernard Menes.
No.
Hilbrant. Also does not have a last name officially.
Doesn't ring a bell.
She nods. Nestor has no last name.
Nestor. Oh, Esther. Dara.
I'm afraid that's not the one we have here, but at least you recall other people. Do you remember this person, this Esther?
Yes, she young woman, late 20s, older than myself, I suppose. Quite a temper, short fuse.
Ah,
Very much get on your feet, soldier kind of cleric. Fragile.
Okay. And the last one here. Sigurd Teff.
He sort of looks very startled.
Fancy?
He's here?
I didn't realize he had the moniker of Fancy.
Yeah, of course I know Fancy. He taught me everything I know.
Oh, and he looks at the rest of you like interesting. Like confirming. Not.
Well, look, so Kaladin, the captain, he taught me the how and the why of the sword and the shield, but it was Fancy who taught me how.
I'm afraid you've lost me.
I've known him since I was a little boy.
Well, then, would you like us to contact him and have him brought here?
Yes, I would.
We'll do so after we're done with your interview, then. Although faster is better. She stands up. Excuse me a moment. She turns to the rest of you and Kindlers. Feel free to continue. I'm just going to get that bird that our fellow Enkindler had here.
Alright.
That bird is far more alive than I give it credit to be. She walks out the door, and you guys can see her through the window talking to Carter. The fucking courier familiar is still there, and she is trying to do some stuff. You guys can't hear it, but you guys can see her talking to him.
You should behave, Cracks.
So why do you have a bird with you anyways? That's a magic bird.
Alright, it's been weeks ever since I got this. Point at the tattoo on my pectoral.
But you did.
Mm-hmm.
So did you have weird magic ink, or what was going on there?
Well, when I was very little, I grew up on the streets, right? So I didn't have much. But as I went through life, I've added to these. They all come from different times. This is my very first one. There was a raven back when in the capital. He looked after us, myself and my friend. Kept each other safe, right? So in a sense, he's still with me. The raven.
You mentioned the mercenary group.
Yes.
How well known is that mercenary group, out of curiosity?
I mean, we're not super famous or anything, but we've got a good reputation in the bigger cities. You know, if you want a reliable escort to get you from town to town, you don't fancy dealing with bandits yourself, Swift Shield will get you there swiftly.
Oh, of course.
So was Fia part of that one, or?
see. No.
Oh.
So, did you leave the previous group to make a new group that apparently works for underwater princesses?
I did
Was
leave,
she
didn't
maybe?
I? Why did I leave? Why?
It's an exceptionally good question.
He sort of scratches absent-mindedly on part of his body, and as you like his lower, the lower part of his torso, toward the little above his hip, between his ribs and the hip. And as he removes his hand, you can see several sort of like stab wound scars.
Ooh.
This seems subconscious to him.
Any idea where that came about?
What?
Points at the
Those
scratches.
nasty little wounds you've got there.
Probably just a knife fight or something. Bandit, maybe?
Oh, when he comes back inside. Alright. I've sent for another courier familiar if needed, as well as for your fancy.
See Cora crack a smile at hearing the moniker.
Now then, I suppose while we wait for him and our colleague, we can continue this. She sits back down. Just confirming something, Mr. Corrick. You have no idea where you currently are.
None.
You don't know what Traverse Town is.
Never heard of it.
You have no idea how you got here in the first place.
Can't recall, no.
Do you know what the threshold beacons are?
You mentioned something when you first brought us in. The big tower things?
Yes, but you don't seem to recognize it.
First time I saw it.
The individual. The one that suddenly appeared in the area with us after we uncovered you.
Yes.
Do they seem familiar to you at all?
Do they?
No.
No, not at all.
Did the item they grabbed seem familiar to you at all?
Did I see what they grabbed?
I don't think you did. I don't think. Yeah, I think only certain people noticed it.
Yeah, no, in that case,
Yeah.
no, I didn't see what they grabbed.
Do you recognize the symbol that they had on their mask?
Do I?
No.
No, not at all.
I love this. Or you ask me, and
You asked me a
I
question,
ask you a
like,
question, you ask me, and then I give you the answer, which you then use to answer the question I gave you. I love it. It has a certain innate humor to it. I love it.
Yeah.
It's just so convoluted. It's brilliant.
Welcome to interrogating yourself.
Hey.
Hey, me, do you know this? You would know. No, I don't know. I'm asking you, but you're me. It's like a Spider-Man meme where they're pointing at each other.
Everything but my statue of me.
Don't point at me. I didn't point at you. You pointed at me.
I'm not pointing at you. You're pointing at me right now because you started pointing at me. Anyways, so bring back to us. Do you have any other questions to ask? She asked the rest of you and Kindlers.
Correct. How many times have you had to use this sword? Or that one? Take a life. I mean, there's been a handful of bandits. Self-defense mostly. I remember the first ones.
Well, yeah. Everyone that's taken a life does.
$20? Thereabout?
All in self-defense.
As far as I can remember.
Very well.
Just quickly before we do, you said I knew the Kaladin. Would I know that he's a part of a mercenary group, or is he just? Would you not? Well, how much do I know about him rather than just?
Roll me background information, but use your charisma. This is the one of the few times.
Okay.
Because you didn't know him personally, so you would only hear about him through word of mouth.
Yeah. Okay.
Word of mouth.
Oh wait, did I actually click that there? Nope. Oh. Oh, I rolled it twice. Okay.
Yeah, you heard of him through word of mouth. He seemed like a promising up and coming young man. Idealistic, certainly. Which sometimes spins out well, and then you get good people. Sometimes it spins out badly, and then you get more bandits.
Yeah. So the information he's giving me about him being the head of a mercenary gang be conflicting with what?
It would be conflicting with what you know, Kaladin, as who would be a young man.
Yeah. So okay. Cool. In that case, one last question before you finish this. If anybody else has anything else to ask, but you mentioned that Kaladin was the head of your mercenary group, right?
Yes, he's the captain.
Right, of course. What's quite curious, because I actually know him as somebody else. I don't really remember him being the head of any sort of mercenary group. Could you tell me maybe a bit more about this gentleman?
I mean, sure, he's taller than I. He's late 40s, mid 40s. I never really asked.
Is he very scarred, just like you are?
No, not really. I mean, he has some scars. You don't. A life along the road with bandits and other mercenaries gives you a few, whether you want them or not.
Can I do an insight check to see how much this information he believes?
Sure. Well, it is how much you believe. That is true.
Yeah. That might help with that as well, because I'm probably...
You can do your own roll.
Yeah, I'll do his own roll. Okay, fair enough.
Aiding people usually requires some sort of communication with them.
Okay.
You both believe him, which is doubly confusing for you, Catherine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he told me this, right? A sword is a tool used best to protect others, just like the shield. Either can take a life, but you have to wield them with care. And he taps at his chest. This is the best compass. And with that, as long as you use that, your compass, the blade will never be too heavy to wield. That is what Kaladin told me. That's what he told me.
Oh, sounds like the man's got a lot of experience behind his belt then.
Catherine, this is... The age is definitely a discrepancy, but the idealism definitely seems very true. Romantic idealism.
A man alone can't change fate, but you can inspire others. You don't build the future alone.
Well, thank you for your answer.
He nods.
Anything else?
I can't. How did you get into, from what I could tell, some protective duty of a princess? Of a group that I imagine you probably didn't know much well beforehand, considering aquatic elf, not aquatic elf.
Can I try and remember some sort of reason?
You can try. You know what you gotta roll me.
Yes.
Would I be able to give him bardic inspiration on this one because I'm trying to get that and communicating with him? Damn it!
Because you don't know that he has to make a save.
Oh yeah,
You guys don't know his memory is off. By all intents and purposes, from your perception, he might just be a guy with a concussion.
Fair.
which, given where you found him, that is probably the more likely and true medical interpretation. A reason. Nothing detailed.
No. I mean, other than that she's in danger, needs people around her, no.
I see. Well, we have some deliberations to talk about then. And soon enough, I imagine Mr. Fancy will be here to vouch for your character. And from the sounds of it, you two might be able to catch up. As
he gets sort of a weak half smile when he...
Bohan, would you please be so kind as to escort Korik back?
Absolutely. Young man, on your feet.
He can keep the blade, but the hilt, I think, is pertinent to us. Unless you all want to leave him disarmed. Out of game, it's up to you guys whether or not you guys want to leave.
Looking at him, Korik, he doesn't seem to care at all about the sword. But the hilt, when she mentions that, he does seem a little...
Reluctant?
Reluctant. Not quite distressed, but...
It's probably...
uneager to let it go.
Like bummed out?
Yeah, not to the point where he's going to contest anything, because he's not in a position to do that, but it seems to bother him.
It's just like, oh, man. Okay. Again, out of game. What do of Korik's equipment? Armed or disarmed?
I mean, Catherine would probably want him disarmed, but...
Yeah, I second that.
It is better to take the safer precaution.
Yeah. Alright, then that is what happens.
Especially considering it sounds like it's their only form of weaponry.
Well, we may be able to use magic, but still one less hammer in our heads, so... Or swords in our backs, I suppose.
Very well. I'm sorry, Mr. Korik, but it seems that you'd be more secured disarmed.
I understand.
Eleni has strong opinions on being disarmed in a number of places. It's probably one of the few hot topic points of contention she has. Makes sense. Can't say monk.
I understand why you need to. Yeah, of course. Take it.
And thus, you're escorted back to your room.
Really, young man, truth will set you free. Maybe. But you know.
Maybe.
Or to get you killed.
Maybe. So, yeah. As soon as Korik is decidedly on the second floor, Eleni does grab the hilt, pull out her own blade, and compare them. The similarities between them are disturbedly and strikingly so.
Does it look genuine?
I don't know.
Which one seems like it's been, I guess, more experienced?
I don't know, and I'll need some time.
Yes, it was confusing.
Very. Something's amiss. I don't know what. But
Definitely.
I suppose it's our experience as enkindlers, but there's definitely more. More than what we might even guess.
Yes.
Perhaps more answers will be discovered as we continue. But for the time being, I think I would like a donut.
I agree with you there.
No more coffee, Fritz.
Can I have tea?
No, that has caffeine in it as well.
There's no uncaffeinated options, I think.
If it's actual tea, then no.
Sad.
But that is where we end today's session. So, sorry, Kirsty, but you're going to have to interrogate yourself next time.
That gives you time to prepare.
It does give you time to prepare.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. It's great. It's great. I had fun. I think it was thoroughly entertaining watching you guys talk at yourselves. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, fun.
I should say funny. It was funny makes it sound like humorous. Although it was humorous at times. It's more of it was very amusing. Resetting up my chair to be in a normal position. As I'm doing this, is there any scheduling stuff I should be concerned about next week?
I don't think so.
Awesome.
I believe I am good, but let me double check.
Okay. Garth, are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Awesome.
Are you good?
The controller wire's stuck on the wheel. Okay, I got it.
Oh, I hate it when that
Yes, I am good for next.
Awesome.
Next week.
Awesome. End recording. Bye-bye recording.